I'm so excited to share and have so many brilliant people in the room. And really what we want to talk about today is kind of where AI is headed. And I thought about last year. This is our second ChippCon. And last year, what we really were doing was exploring, I think, what was possible with AI. We were really building tools and trying to figure out what could we actually do with this technology. And I think where we're headed today, if we thought of a word for this week, it's really teamwork. I think AI has really become a team member for a lot of us. And what we're finding is there's a gap between AI as a tool and AI as a team member. And I think about teamwork as, not just with the AI, but also with all of you. We had a great session this morning where people were sharing ideas. And I think that all of us can be team members with one another, helping to kind of build the future of AI. And I hope that Chipp can also be your teammate, right? That we can actually help you build things that you need to create the future of AI. So let's talk a little bit about the state of AI, and if I could get the confidence monitor screen, that would be great. I can't see the slides right now. There you go, perfect. So when we think about where AI is, it's moving from a tool to becoming a team member, right? We can really use this not just to write faster emails, but actually to do better work. And in fact, one of the stats that I thought was really fascinating, Accenture just came out with last month, was 75% of us are using AI for knowledge work, but only 13% of companies are saying that there's actually a significant impact, right? So there's this huge gap from us using it personally to companies actually taking advantage of it. I like to think about it as robots in hiding, right? Like we're not telling our boss we're using AI, basically. But we should, because when we use AI, we're actually doing better quality work. So one person with an AI creates the same quality of work as about two people working together. And for a lot of us, AI is the second best option, right? If you don't have a legal counsel, use AI, right? If you don't have a HR person next to you, use AI. It can be the second best option. And for a lot of us, we work by ourselves. We don't want to bother someone else. So we should be using AI as a teammate. And what we're seeing at Chipp is that a lot of companies are needing to create these tools to share internally to create this teammate. So I call this the AI geyser, which is we have all these ideas in companies. And what we need to do is find the ideas that can be shared out across the organization. And what we're finding is those ideas can be shared for a lot of tasks that a lot of people do. So this is a little Gartner chart that shows the skill level of a worker and the complexity of a task. So writing a blog post, for example, might be a somewhat easy task that a lot of people do. That's a great place to use AI. But there's also the chance to use AI for high-level work that a few people do. So think contracting, think deep research, right? And that's another place that AI has been really impactful. And so what we're seeing is this kind of move up the value pyramid, where AI creates efficiency, which is where a lot of businesses are starting with it, but it can also improve quality. And what we're trying to help businesses move towards is that they can actually unlock new revenue and new ways of working. And we think that AI can get us there. And what's exciting is today we're going to have speakers talk about how this is happening in a lot of different industries. So when I talk to businesses, the number one thing I try to get across is this concept of world knowledge and professional knowledge. So we all know that ChatGPT, the P is pre-trained. It's trained on the knowledge that exists on the internet through a few months ago, which is incredibly powerful. We can ask about calculus. We can ask about how to write a good blog post. We can ask how to make a good meal. But most businesses have knowledge that are specific to them, right? They want to make specific AI that actually works for them, which is why we have to overlay professional knowledge on top of world knowledge. And a lot of us work in unique ways, which is why we also have to think about our personal knowledge. How do we like our information? When we put those elements together, we can have a really powerful AI tool. So we've seen about 14,000 people build AI tools. And what we've found is there's a really clear dichotomy of where AI can be integrated. So I like to think about it as a simple 2x2, which is you can use it personally inside of a company. So this is often a personal protege. So this is going to write like you, right? It might be emails or blog posts or strategy documents. Then we have companies that want to do things internally for many people. So think one AI tool that a lot of different people will use. So this is great for company search. So what's our policy on vacation time, right? How do we create documents for this or that? Or it might be a marketing tool that a lot of different people are accessing. Now, a lot of times people want to take this external, right? So you have an AI tool that your customers or your clients will use. So you could have, again, a one-to-one agent that's specific to a customer. So a personal tutor is a great example. It'll actually take in information about someone's knowledge and give them a personalized experience. We can also create a one-to-many experience for customers. So think about that customer support on your website. Everyone has the same kind of chat experience, and it gets personal based on what they ask. So as we think about integrating AI, using tools like Chipp, we can think about where is going to be the best use of AI and the best power. So I'll give you a little bit about where Chipp is and where we've been. I think it's fun to kind of share the history and how things have changed. And then we want to share new features that are new starting today, as well as where we're going. So when we think about Chipp, where we've been, we actually started way back in June 2023. And our very first idea was to help nonprofits source 990 data, which is tax IRS data. So we had nonprofits we were trying to help to say, how could we find the highest paid executives in certain nonprofits? How could we find missions from people? And this was a really fun challenge because we found out the IRS doesn't actually update the taxes very regularly. So it was actually really hard to get. And pretty soon we started to find people who wanted to build tools like ours, but it's hard for them to build a business around it. So Chipp became Chipp, the name Chipp, because we actually built a payment solution. So we actually help people create a pay-as-you-go solution. And obviously, the next step after a stripe on a credit card is the chip on the credit card, right? So we got our name Chipp. But what we found is that we needed a way to demo this solution. So we built, first we raised a little bit of money from friends and family, so many people that you'll see tonight. And we built a playground. So the Chipp Playground was a way to build apps to show how you could then charge for them with a pay-per-use solution. Like any good entrepreneur, you listen to customers, and the customers said, we actually want the playground, not the payment solution. So that's how we pivoted into what we know today as Chipp. We were able to raise our pre-seed in January 2024. We had our first ChippCon that summer, and now we launched our academy in March 2025, and now we're here for ChippCon 2. So we'll have some big news today to share to kind of continue this story. But it's been really fun to kind of share the history a little bit about how Chipp's evolving, because I think as AI moves, we all kind of move with it, right? So let's talk a little bit about where we're at with Chipp, and then talk about some of the features we have, and then hear from some experts. So really excited to have many of you join our Chippster family, and we have today over 14,000 builders that are building over 100,000 AI apps with Chipp. So really excited for that. Let's give it up for the Chipp dev team. Yeah, keeping things afloat for sure. And we've kind of learned along the way, who benefits from that. What are the features that really make Chipp unique? So today what I want to do is walk through what I call the Chipp Six. There's kind of like the 6 unique kind of features or things that are making Chipp powerful and that we're launching new tools with. So I'll move this table here as we get set up for a little live demo. And we'll kind of walk you through some of the new stuff. So there we go. So we'll kind of start with the ability of control. And we'll get that switched over. So a lot of you are familiar with Chipp and how it uses. I'll kind of walk through some of the main features and highlight some of the newer ones that you might be less familiar with. So we can switch over to this screen here, and we'll be able to see our Chipp demo assistant. So you can go to chippcon.chipp.ai and talk to this and learn all about the schedule for today. But one of the things that Chipp allows you to do is to control the output, right? So a really key feature for businesses is to make sure the AI tool is talking in the way that they want. So with Chipp, you can train it and use any of the models, right? So you can choose frontier models so that you get the kind of response or context window that you need. And then you can train it with a prompt. I've spent a lot of my days teaching the RIPE framework, telling people how to write a prompt, and telling it a role and an instruction parameters is a great way to start. But this has been where a lot of customers just find value just with this, right? Giving a good instruction so that the AI knows how to give a specific response or how to wait to respond. So that's kind of what we're used to, right? Is being able to control it and being able to take actions across models. So with Chipp, since you're able to switch models, what's powerful is you're able to build connections, and it's not specific to a specific model, right? So you can flip from ChatGPT to Claude to Gemini, and your actions, your API calls, your instructions are all still there. So with Chipp, you get the basic actions you would expect, being able to upload images, being able to understand images, being able to browse the web. But we're also able to build custom actions. And today we're going to release and show a lot more power around custom actions. We have some that are built in that we've built for you, right? So all you have to do is add your API key, and you can add your calendar or your meeting links. What a lot of people do are adding custom actions. And with custom actions, we'll show you today that you can just import these, and it'll actually generate for you. So this is a really powerful way now to connect Chipp to other software. So control is a really big aspect of what we do. The second thing that Chipp allows you to do is to ground your agent. So grounding is a fancy term in AI that just means it's giving you answers off what you want it to, right? So instead of getting answers from the internet, I only want it from my specific chat. This is really important for agents or tools that are trying to talk to a knowledge source. So for example, our friends at IFTA, they are a food distribution organization, so they're selling research to members, right? So members across the world are asking questions to them about tariff information, about the latest food prices and salary. They want to make sure that their answers come from their specific research. So they're able to ground their agents in their own knowledge sources, right? And able to footnote it and drive people just to the information that they've provided. So this is a really important thing for people who want to protect their brand, right? And ground it just on specific knowledge. And with Chipp, we're able to go into the knowledge sources and actually cite those. So this is a new feature on Chipp where you can actually choose to cite your sources, and it'll show where that information comes from. And so when you ask a question, we'll get a little footnote, and we'll actually be able to show how accurate or how related that is to different information. So you can see here it's going through the instructions, and it's going to give me a little question. One of my favorite hacks is using the hotkeys and just giving a little number response here. And we'll just go through, and it'll show us how to build a little agent. So here we go. We'll just kind of ask a few questions, and you can see this is going to be driven just from our information. Perfect. So it's kind of walking through, and the citing sources then allows us to find that information. Now, with grounding, we want to make sure that we can also evaluate that. And so today we're going to hear a little bit about evaluations and how we can make sure that the sources we're using are actually giving good responses. So this is going to be a big focus of Chipp over the coming months is how do we ensure quality? Because people are getting excited about AI, but they need to trust that it's working, right? So grounding will be a big part of Chipp moving forward. Now, the third area that Chipp really stands out is with monitoring. So with Chipp, you're able to actually monitor what people are saying with the chat logs. So I know a lot of you have experienced the chat logs, and we can go to that over here. Yep. So with the chat logs, we can see any conversations like the one we just had and go through and kind of sort this also from where it's from, right? So if it's from API or web or elsewhere. But we have a new feature that we're just rolling out today that we're really excited about, which is called tags. So with tags on Chipp, you're actually able to monitor for specific topics or conversation areas. So let me show you how tags work. So we can have a conversation area like marketing lead, for example. And whenever someone's having a conversation with Chipp that touches on that subject area, it'll actually flag it for us. And we can go in here and actually see where in the conversation it is, right? And so with the tags, we can use this in a couple ways. We can use it for growth, looking for people who are looking for investment advice. We can look for people that are asking for lead information. We can also use it for safety. So this was a feature that was originally requested by schools because they need to make sure that students aren't asking for things that are dangerous or that they're not showing signs of depression. And so Chipp allows you to have this content moderation and not only create a tag, but also give specific responses. So I might create a new tag, for example, and if we want to call it mental health, for example, and we can look for users showing signs of depression. And then I can give example phrases that I might use. I can just say I'm sad and whatever it might be. And then I can decide how sensitive do I want this to be. So I don't want it to catch a lot of stuff, or do I want it to be very strict, meaning it's only going to find those specific phrases. And then if I'd like to, I can actually have a replacement response. So for schools, as an example, we don't want to continue the conversation if they're asking for something we don't want. Or if we have an AI tool and we don't want people asking about other topics, we can actually have a default response, right? And when they ask questions about that topic, it'll give that default response and stop them from asking other conversations. This is a great way to ensure safety and to monitor kind of the activity. And what's coming next, as you can imagine then, is webhook ability, so that when people do have conversations about booking a lead or getting information about your company, you can now send that out to your email, send it to any automation, and have action taken on that. So I think tags will be a really important feature for people as we move forward using Chipp. Really excited about that one. And of course, monitoring is not just actually what's being said, but who is saying it. And so with Chipp, we're not only able to monitor the words, but also the users. And as we'll show in just a second, we have a new feature with HQ that you're able to see who's joining your tool and how much they're using it. So we can watch down here to see who's joining, how many credits or conversations they've had, and actually check for people who have made sales. So that's all kind of in that monitoring bucket. With Chipp, one thing that makes it unique is the ability to share, right? So it's not just sharing links, but sharing on other platforms. We really think that Chipp can be the easiest way to create AI agents that are distributed across platforms. So I'll show you a little bit about what that looks like. So you might have a site like Maria does, the 4 languages here, and you can obviously share Chipp as a conversation widget, right? So it can pop up just on your site, just like the way you would expect to have a conversation on your site. Or you can be like IFTA and embed it on your site. This is with an iframe, and they're able to have that conversation right underneath kind of their brand. But there's other ways to share that maybe you're less familiar with. So you can also share Chipp via an API. So a lot of people who are building products on top of Chipp can use that and actually bring Chipp into tools like Replit or Lovable. So if you're vibe coding a solution like Michael might talk about, you'll actually have the Chipp chat right in your tool. This is a great way to kind of build in other places. Now, it's not just chatting with a link or putting Chipp somewhere, but we can also put Chipp into other software. So we can deploy Chipp into Slack so you can have conversations as a team with an AI agent. Also with WhatsApp, you can do the same thing. We'll hear today people using WhatsApp around the world with Chipp embedded. And so on the WhatsApp channel, you're actually chatting with the AI. And starting today, we have the ability to deploy as what's called a progressive web app. So let me show you a little bit what this actually looks like in practice. So here's a little look at Slack, and one of our good friends at M25, they have what's known as the resource library. And anytime we want to talk to a Chipp chat, all we have to do is tag it in the channel, right? So I have already invited the resource library agent here, and I might say, what deals are there for new companies, right? And our agent will think a little bit and then give us a response in the thread. And anyone who has access to this channel can join that thread and then join the conversation, right? And so here we can see an example on the side of a conversation that we had where we're talking about how to register for the conference. Somebody asks about AWS credit, and this is trained on their benefits that they give investment companies, right? So now I can just ask for the information right within our Slack channel, and I can have a conversation here. So this is a great way to bring AI into a team. We've seen companies using this for research. You can imagine every day you just go into the Slack channel and say, what are the updates about my competitor, about an industry, or maybe the latest headlines about a topic, right? So this is a really kind of a great way to bridge the adoption gap. One of the biggest challenges we've seen with AI is actually people management, right? It's getting people to do a different workflow. And so by putting AI where people already are, we kind of solve that problem. Now, one of the fun additions, I got to go grab my phone. In addition to Slack is adding apps. So let me grab my phone real quick, and we can show you what this looks like. So as of today, you can now deploy Chipp as an app on your phone. So if you have customers who are wanting to use your application, you can actually give them this link and install it as a progressive web app. So what that looks like is you follow these instructions, and it goes on your home screen. So here's let's see if I can open up my phone. There we go. You can see some of the fun games my kids play here while we unlock it. Let's see, there we go. Okay, I got to shut that off, I guess. All right, let's see if I can. There, I think you can see that, yeah. All right, so here's an example of our ChippCon app, right? And I can just click right on that. It opens up the application right here, and we can just ask, the schedule for today's ChippCon. So this is a really smooth way to bring your Chipp chats onto where people work. We'll hear from Murray later this week, and he talks about using AI with contractors, right? And you can imagine maybe Tyler with his team that's doing HVAC, they're on their phone, right? They're on their site. And if I can all of a sudden ask on my app, which tool do I need or which instruction manual should I refer to, it's going to be a lot smoother experience. So we're really excited for you guys to build with the app option and see how you kind of deploy that. So just another way to share, and we'll expect more of these to come in the future weeks and months for sharing Chipp. So let's go here. Another area that Chipp really stands out is with our ability to protect your information. So one part of it is protecting a brand, right? So one thing we can do with Chipp is actually deploy private installs with our partners' prediction guard. So we have prediction guard here, and they actually allow us to install Chipp with private LLMs. So when you think about Chipp, there's different ways that we have privacy. By default, every app, every conversation on Chipp is not used for training other models. So no one else can go to ChatGPT or Claude or Anthropic and say, what did Scott ask? Or what did he upload, right? So everything that you do on Chipp is not going to be used for future training. But when I ask a question and it goes to ChatGPT, ChatGPT is going to see that question, right? Because it has to answer it. So what you can do is actually run Chipp along with open source models in your own cloud. So you can see here under the models, we can offer open source models that are installed locally, and that's one way that you can keep all the information private. Another way that you can protect kind of your brand is actually running Chipp as a white label experience. If you're okay sharing, Amit, I can share your install. He has a great example, I think. You can see this one already is kind of white labeled, but we can go to, let's go to next. So if we have a team and we want to share apps, we can actually host it on your own domain, right? So this is here Nexa Lab AI. And then as you obviously build, sell, share, it's all underneath your own brand. So that's a really powerful way to control access, to control the brand. And with Chipp, we control access even further, and you can actually limit that people can only use your apps if they sign up. They can only use it if they're from a certain domain, or only people with certain emails can use it, right? So we can actually limit on a very granular level or on a very big level. And this is obviously really important when you have sensitive information. You only want certain people to access. So kind of the sixth and final area that we're seeing Chipp stand out is in the ability to scale, really to offer AI in kind of a powerful place, one kind of tool that makes it work. So we're really excited today to launch a feature we call HQ. So HQ obviously stands for headquarters, and one thing that we've heard people ask for is a place that we can put all of our apps for our clients to use without them seeing all the details, right? I don't want to show them the instructions or the files. I want to make it easier for people to join. So with HQ, you have a dedicated URL. So here we can see the example from AFP Bloom. And these are all different apps for legal firms that our friends at Your Pivot have created. So they sell these to different law firms, and the law firms can then give these to their clients. And every banner can be edited, every logo can be changed. But what's most powerful is I can just invite people to this with a link. So I can go into, for example, my team here. I'll use the Chipp team space as an example. And here's my public invite link, right? And I can copy this link. Now, anyone who clicks this link is going to join my workspace as a viewer. And as a viewer, I'm going to see just like this. And when I click into it, I have to request to join if I haven't been invited in, right? And if I have access, then I'm going to just see the app itself without the details. So you can all go today with a team plan on Chipp and build a team space. And when people click in, they're going to be able to just see the app, none of the instructions. And that'll be a powerful way to kind of grow your business, right? So you'll get a nice, clean experience and scale. And I think the final way people are scaling is with what we just saw, which a dedicated Chipp instance just for your company, right? So your brand, your control, your HQ, a really powerful way to build it. So what I want to do now is give you a little look at Chipp, a quick overview in case too much came at once. We'll give you the commercial. So we'll tell our friends at Livewire here who are doing a great job of helping us to roll the tape, I think is the right words, and we can show you our Chipp launch video that we're releasing today. Hello from Fargo. Yes, just like the movie. Now, the number one question I hear from businesses regarding AI is,
AI looks amazing, but where the heck do I even start?
we all use AI personally, but in our business, how do we use it as a team in a way that's on brand, based on our knowledge, and private? That's why we built Chipp. Chipp helps anyone build an AI agent that helps the entire team work smart. People like Eric.
Working with Chipp AI, we developed FM Fill. And FM Fill is that Midwest flannel wearing extra helper at the FM Area Foundation that knows the tax code real well and can help you with complex assets and help you figure out the best tax advantage way to give some money away to some great charities.
Annika.
IFDO is looking for an easy and quick way to help our members find the information that we have in our research and event and conference content, and Chipp made that really easy for us by building an app that creates it and pulls it together really quickly and easily. I have zero background in AI. That really speaks to the ease of using Chipp AI, because if I can do it, anyone can.
Hey, Marita.
Chipp allows us to sell, to monetize, to reach, and to support our clients. We recently started rolling out a new product, which was selling these tools to law firms. We came to Chipp and we were able to package all those tools and sell them as a package that, law firms could then, allow their clients to access as part of like a bundle strategy almost.
So how does Chipp actually work? 4 easy steps. Ask, train, share, and learn. Go to chipp.ai and ask for whatever you need. It might be analyzing spreadsheets, finding something in company information, or creating a customer service bot. You can train your AI on your own information. You can put in instructions, choose a model from any of the model providers, and add information from YouTube or Google Drive, Notion, or anywhere you keep information. Third, you can share your AI with your team or with your customers. Share a link or put it in tools you already use, like Slack. Best of all, you can set up privacy, so it'll only share the information that you want. Fourth, the AI will learn and get better over time. You can look at the chat logs to see what people are saying and find leads or find problems that your team's having. You can also keep memory across models and across users so that the AI gets better the more you use it. Chipp makes AI easy, but choosing an AI tool should be just as easy. Today, if you're a business, you're going to be paying per seat or per application for any AI tool out there. So for every ChatGPT or Copilot seat, you're paying $30. For every company search seat, you're paying another $50. For a tool that's going to answer customer support requests, you're paying every time a question is answered. What if you could get all of that in one tool? Unlimited users, unlimited applications, unlimited power. That's Chipp, starting at $99 a month. So what are you waiting for? Get started at chipp.ai. All you have to do is ask. All right, so there's our commercial. Hey. So that is live on LinkedIn. Would love for you to share it. And I learned from Alfredo that there's a golden hour, so you have an hour to share it. One of the features that you saw in the video that I'm really excited to show you is the launch of what we're calling our Chipp Builder. And so as of right now, starting today, you can now go to Chipp and build agents on the fly. So we think about this as vibe work, right? So we might be familiar with vibe coding, where you can go to a site like Lovable or Replit and tell it an app you want to build. So now with Chipp, you can just go to chipp.ai and type in anything you want to build here, or grab one of our recommendations below. So we'll just grab this one right here. And we click Generate. And then we're going to log in or sign up. And it'll actually build our agent on the spot in about 60 seconds. What's really powerful about this is if you sign up with a company email, it'll actually ask you if you want to scrape your website and pull that information into the app. It'll also design a logo for you, give it a name, and get it ready to share. So what we're trying to figure out is what is the fastest time to impact possible? And we really think that if you can give an employee the ability to say what they need and have it spin up a solution for them within a minute, there is going to be less of a barrier, right? It makes AI a lot less scary. And we can share it then with our team and tap into that geyser of knowledge, right? If everybody has this information, they have tasks that they do, we can have them build agents and share them out to the company on their HQ. So you can kind of start to see the pieces fitting together, where we're trying to unlock the power across teams, give them a place to put it, make sure that they can protect it with the guardrails, and then make it easy to access wherever they work, whether it's Slack or apps or the web. So I will skip the scraping of Chipp right now, and we'll launch our app. Let's see what we built. Talent Sift is going to help us, and we're ready to go. And you can see I already have a starting message, so I can start using it, and I can even read the entire prompt right here. So that's where we're going with Chipp, is making it super easy for you, your employees, your companies, your clients to build, and we're really excited to do that with you. But we couldn't do it without you. So I want to take a little look at the state of all of you, of the Chippsters, and I'd say we have a fun community that's growing and building. So currently, we are excited to have over 1,800 active Chippsters, so people who are posting, commenting, giving advice, asking questions across our Academy, our Discord channel, and our Slack channel. We have over 25 certified agencies, and those are people who are building with Chipp, selling with Chipp, and getting leads from us. We have Chipp chapters. So Chipp chapters are where we support and encourage local events. We've had events in Fargo, in Miami, in Mexico, in London, Brazil, South Africa, and we would love for all of you to host events in your own communities. We really think that if we can make AI accessible, everybody will take advantage of the power of AI. You've probably seen Maria in the Academy, and she's here to help you launch your own Chipp chapter if you're interested, so you can reach out to her. On the Academy, you can go to chipp.disco.co to get started, but we have over 750 members, and we've had 25 events. All of the replays are there for you, including many around specific industries like education or service industries. So it's a great place to go learn about how people are building with AI. We also have our Chipp sales partners, and all of our Chipp sales partners have a 20% referral that they get after they've taken the Chipp certification. We put them into our Chipp agency matcher on our website, so when people come to Chipp, they can actually ask for help and find it. You get a certification, and then you also get support from the Chipp team. But today we're excited to launch a new level of partnership with Chipp, which is our Chipp Gold partners. So our Chipp Gold partners are people who are actively selling Chipp and are building the future of AI. We provide leads to them, we provide dedicated support and co-builds, and we provide exclusivity depending on their industry or their geography. And what Chipp Gold partners bring to Chipp is they're bringing sales. So we have annual sales targets. We have a joint pipeline, so we share who we're working with, who we could potentially help. And we get feedback and requests from you so that we know what to build for you and your clients. We had a great initial Gold partner meeting this morning, and I think what was obvious to me is that there's a lot of knowledge transfer to be had among people working in this industry. So I think there's a lot of people who need help and a lot of expertise in this room, and so we're excited to help all of you help one another. So I think together, we can really move from our ChippCon last year, which was building a tool, to our ChippCon this year, which is unlocking teamwork. And I think that teamwork is in this room. So the rest of today and tomorrow, we're going to talk about how to unlock that teamwork and how to learn from one another. Before that, we're really excited to give you a sneak peek. Tomorrow, we're making the official announcement. We have officially closed a $2 million seed round for Chipp to help us build everything we just talked about. So we're really excited. So thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much. So I'm gonna trap you on the bus tomorrow and force you all to share my LinkedIn post at 8:15, so you can look for it then officially. But we're really excited for that, and excited that that has helped us bring on our colleague Andrew. Andrew, if you want to wave. He's helping us build the back end of Chipp. So those who have been with us a long time know that we had a lot of spikes in usage and trying to build the server capacity. He's solving all of that for us and helping us kind of move in those areas we talked about.